this reminds me of our days in secondary school, debate club. You have saved me the onerous responsibility of saying panel of judges, co-debaters, timekeepers. So you saved me that responsibility today, and you saved me the stress of going through the protocol. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we give God the glory for a day like this and for bringing us here to come and listen to ourselves, hear us talk, and take away some lessons that we will take home to be able to build and make our community, our state, and our nation a better place. Parliament. I don't know about the story you have concerning the Parliament. But for some of you, the Parliament is a place where grown-up adults go to throw chairs. To some of you. And then to some of you, it's a place where politicians go to earn, like we've seen in the social media, big bags of money, figures written on top of it, as allowance of parliamentarians. So for people like us with our body frame that we could not have the energy to go and throw chairs, we needed to have something upstairs to be able to go and offer so that when others in other places, not in our own clime, might think of throwing chairs, we would think of talking and debating so that we can bring forth strong argument, bring forth superior argument that would help aid our case and aid our advocacy. I'm given the opportunity to talk to you today concerning the Parliament, and I want to charge you that the Parliament is one of the great places to be. And if you ask me why, I will tell you one strong reason. Whether you like it or not, depending on the jurisdiction that you find yourself, when I make the law and it's assented to by the governor, or when the National Assembly makes the law and it is assented to by the president, whether you like it or not, you are bound by that law, except the only window open for you is for you to go to the court, which is saddled with the responsibility of interpreting that law for the judiciary and the court to be able to say whether your right has been infringed by that law or not, whether your constitutionally guaranteed right has been infringed by a particular legislation or not. Outside that, you are bound to obey any legislation that comes before you. 2002, I was rusticated from the university for student union activities, not for court-related activities, as a student union government president challenging the status quo. And then I was looking for what to do. I joined a young man who was campaigning to become a House of Assembly member. And we went on campaigns. He won in 2003. He took me in as his legislative aide. I did not come from his constituency. I came from another constituency. So he took me in as an SA. So in 2003, I served as a PA and a legislative assistant to a member, now late, may so rest in perfect peace, late Honorable N.S. Nobon Okocho II, who represented Ibom Esreke State Constituency in the House of Assembly. In 2008, by the grace of God, we gathered 109 of us representing the different senatorial districts in this country at Kubwa, the NYC orientation camp at Kubwa in Abuja. And then they were politicking. I was nominated to represent Uyo senatorial district, or called Akwa Ibom North East senatorial district. And then, in the floor of one of the committee rooms of the House of Representative wing of the National Assembly, by the grace of God and with the support of my colleagues, I was elected the pioneer speaker of Nigerian Youth Parliament, and a non-stipendiary youth leadership platform where I happened to serve for 2 clear years. Now, then I will not mention where I served because it's not necessary for this purpose. After then in 2011, I sought my people's mandate to represent them in the House of Assembly. And they graciously granted me that mandate to represent them in 2011. And then again, I sought for their mandate in 2015. They graciously gave me their mandate to speak for them in the House of Assembly in 2015. And here am I, still standing on that mandate that they've given to me. And by the grace of God and the support of my colleagues, I was elected on the 21st day of December 2015 as the 11th Speaker of the Akwa Ibom House of Assembly. Now, I'm giving this story because there's a point I want to make. I can see that this hall this afternoon is populated by young people who are aspiring to become great things in life. And I want to challenge you. I'm giving you this story to challenge you that don't shy away from politics. And when you, with a good heart, when you, with an intellectual, as an intellectual, shy away from politics, then you are leaving the room for mediocres to thrive. So I'm giving you this story to tell you that whatsoever I'm going to tell you here is doable from a standpoint of pragmatism, a standpoint of what I have been able to do. Why did I seek that mandate? I saw there were certain things that were not right in the legislature. And then I came in with this idea. I am known for challenging status quo. And that's what always gives me a brush with the authority. I have to say it. Because I'm not comfortable with status quo. I must be able to challenge status quo to get things, how things ought to be. Now, why did I seek the mandate of my people to go into the House of Assembly in 2011? I probably was not satisfied with the way that I was represented. I was not satisfied with the feedback mechanism, the communication between my representative and the people of the constituency. And I said, okay, I think I can do better. I think I can try my best. Not to say do better, because I don't like comparison. I think I can contribute my quota towards the development of my state constituency. And looking back, what I have done is left for my colleagues, is left for my constituent to be able to judge whether I have done well. But from my own standpoint, I believe that I have been able to import those ideas that I had on top of the table to be able to make these little contributions that I have been able to make that has led to my ascending to this position, that has equally led to my being invited to come and speak in this program today. One is that the greatest bane of representative democracy in Nigeria is that we have men and women who are not prepared, and by reason of election or by reason of having big money, they become elected because of money bags, not because of the capacity they have to give to our legislature. So I want to charge you that you rise today and then begin to go with an idea. I went with an idea and the people bought the idea. So you must be prepared. I gave you those stories of my trajectory of service in the legislature to tell you that from those positions that I occupied, from 2003 to 2008 to 2011, I have learned great lessons that has made me a better person today and has led me to become a better legislator. And I am still continuing to go to be a better legislator because I am still in the legislature. I love a career in the legislature. Why am I saying this? You can't give in law. There's what they said, you can't give what you don't have. So if you don't have the necessary intellectual reasoning, if you don't have the necessary intellectual capacity and acumen, you cannot be able to contribute and function in the floor of the legislature. Legislature is a composition of people from diverse backgrounds, from diverse fields, diverse opinions, where strong and superior argument ought to be the order of the day. And I want to charge you, you must be able to learn the ropes for you to perform and become a better legislator. We are looking at the next legislator, Parliament 2.0. My brother, I was asked to come and speak on how we can disrupt the current legislative proceeding right now with technology. I want to say that because of the reality on ground, we might not be able to have that kind of disruptive tendency as we have witnessed in the technological development, as we have witnessed even in telecommunication, to be able to bring it into the parliament. And that leads me to the next point. I want to correct an impression here. The Senate of the University of Calabar has not approved yet my result. So I don't hold a master's degree in telecommunication law until University of Calabar approves SEN. So I'm waiting for that. So correct that in my program. So now, that's why I am advocating for a legislative internship program. With what I have learned in my years of service, I found out that internship is one of the best, whether informal or formal. In 2003, I was an intern, though working with someone. In 2008, the sole purpose of the Nigerian Youth Parliament by the then president of blessed memory, President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and with the support of the then speaker, Honorable Dimeji Bankole, was to be an internship program for young people who are interested in public service. So I have come to realize the importance of internship. And that is why when I got into that office, I had to give back to the society. I first started with the very first, I stand to be challenged, with the very first stipendiary legislative internship program in Nigeria, first in 2011 as the Onofiok Luke legislative internship program. It is there. Now, when I got elected in 2015, I was thinking of the need to institutionalize it, take it away from personalizing it, and then I was able to talk with my colleagues. I was able to talk with the staff, in this case represented by the clerk of the House of Assembly, who are what I could call the institutional memory, to be able to buy in on the need for us to have a legislative internship program. And today in Akwa House of Assembly, we are the first assembly here because we have noticed it. I have noticed it in some other clime. I have noticed it in the legislature of Texas, the state of Texas, in the United States. So most of the senators and most of the members of Congress were interns while they were young. And have seen, you can see the quality, you agree with me, the quality of legislation that we have in the United States. That is the same thing I want to reproduce in Akwa Ibom State. And that is why we have had, in 2000 and last year, we have established the Akwa Ibom State Legislative Internship Program. And today, by the grace of God, because I go with them wherever I go, the interns are here with me in this hall. I got them to be here, and may they please rise. They are here with me in this hall to be able to share in this experience. Then I know the next thing for you to be a better parliamentarian, you have to have mentors. And I was mentored by great parliamentarians and the people I had served. So I started another thing away from the internship program, the Onofiok Luke Mentorship Hub, and where I teach them on legislative practice and procedure. They are always in the chambers to watch proceedings and see whatever we are doing. And then the members of the Onofiok Luke Mentorship Hub are here. Please, can they rise for recognition? Having been in this hall today, you are all welcome. Now, what has those lessons learned transmitted to? I found out that there were gaps in the legislations that we needed to fill in the legislature. One of those gaps was the fact that I found out that our healthcare system was not well positioned in the state, that there was need for us to be able to have legislations to back the healthcare system. So by the grace of God Almighty, because of the lessons learned as interns, I was able to pick those gaps. And by the grace of God Almighty, with the support of my colleagues, I have been a lead sponsor of 3 major health bills that would change the healthcare delivery landscape in my state. First, when I found out that we're going to lose donor agencies for our HIV and AIDS program because we did not have a coordinating platform that was backed up by law, I sponsored the bill in my first term to be able to have the Akwa Ibom State HIV AIDS Prevention Agency. And by today, that agency is working and donor agencies are coming. Secondly, I found out that the primary health care is at a challenge in the state, and I became a lead sponsor to have the State Primary Health Care Development Agency bill. That bill has been assented to by His Excellency the Governor, and then we are going to have that agency functioning very soon. The next challenge I saw was that the financing of healthcare is too much. The burden is much on individual. And have seen National Health Insurance Scheme work in other clients like the National Health Insurance Scheme of the UK. I found out it's a very fantastic arrangement. So I came up with the National Health Insurance, Akwa Ibom State Health Insurance Scheme, and that bill, sponsored by me and co-sponsored by my colleagues, has been passed into law. And today, it's assented to by His Excellency the Governor, and we are going to get it working. So I am challenging you today that, please, the next parliament needs people who have gotten the training and have the wherewithal, they have the know-how. The next thing is that you need to be involved in what is happening in the parliament. I came up to say that we have to have live streaming of our sitting. And then I came up in 2011 as the chairman of Finance and Appropriation. I was not happy with the way our budgeting process was shrouded in secrecy. For the very first time, I started the issue of public hearing on the budget in 2011, and it has been institutionalized in Akwa House of Assembly today. And the National Assembly is copying that to be able to open the budget for public hearing. And in my position as a speaker, I make sure that every bill passed is subjected to public hearing. And I want to urge the young people seated here, use technology to be able to contribute to lawmaking, whether at the level of public hearing, use technology to contribute to lawmaking. You have a right to sponsor a bill in the House of Assembly, but you might not have a right to speak in the floor. So use your member to be able to sponsor a bill by suggesting whatsoever area of policy that needs legislation. So I want to charge you today that it is possible and it is doable. Requisite parliament that is all-inclusive, a parliament that is made up of people who have gotten the requisite knowledge. And again, we are pushing for a parliament that is autonomous, independent, that can take its own decision without any interference from outside. And may God bless Nigeria and bless all of us. Thank you.